The #1 source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey, race fans, Joe Costello back. WFO Radio is getting ready for the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals. The big go, the big daddy, the biggest drag race on the planet. Everybody is on their way to Indianapolis, Indiana. There'll be over 800 race cars. It's going to be great. And as we get ready to head that way, we've got a great opportunity. We're going to highlight some great racers that are going to be there in attendance, battling it out. But first and foremost, I am super excited to check in with a 16-time champ, the guy who got the job done just a couple of years ago in 2019 here at the Big Go. And for the first time since his Richmond incident, he is back on WFO Radio, Mr. John Force. John, welcome back. How are you?
Good, and it's good to be on your show. But I like all those ads you're running out there. You know how to make money, so things are going good.
You know, it's we all learned from you in the sport of drag racing, and it's about honesty and credibility and bringing an audience. And we are able to do that because of the sport of drag racing. Doing a long time now, John. It's been 15 years since we first started WFO Radio years ago. How are you doing? That's the question everybody wants to know. We see on the starting line, I saw a great interview with a TV station from LA, and that made me feel like it was okay. We've been giving you a little space, right? But it was okay to get you back because you seem very good.
First of all, love being back on your show. Love seeing you. Saw you at the races a number of times. I don't go to all of them, but I'm going to most of them, and I'll be heading to Indy here at the first of the next week. But a lot of stuff going on. Ray Hall's got some of my race cars there at his cafe, and I guess they're going to have some press conference or whatever they're having over there. So it'd be good to get there. Love Ray Hall. Love my grandchildren. Love Courtney. And but Indy's a big one. That's the big one they always talked about. Don Gartlett's and that whole thing where it's going. And I'm excited to be a part of that. So yeah, I'm getting better, but I got whacked pretty good, and I'm recovering from it. And there's still things they're looking at because I've been beat up a lot, but I got no complaints. So just excited to be here with you.
Yes, and regarding news for Indy, later in the week, they will reveal a whole bunch of information that is exciting about Jack Beckman's car. And we do know, and we can talk about it now, Cornwell Tools is going to be on the side of Brittany's Top Fuel dragster, the fastest dragster on the planet. That relationship has really blossomed. They're sponsoring the event. They're sponsoring Austin. They're on board with Brittany. Cornwell Tools has had a tremendous growth since getting involved with John Force Racing a few years ago. Talk a little bit about those guys. They obviously love drag racing.
Well, Cornwell, jumped into the game, and we put them with Austin Prock, and that kid just amazes me. He just come out of nowhere and got in that race car and off and winning. But he's got a great team with his brother and his dad and what they're putting together for him. But he's got a lot of talent, and he's showing it. And I was just told a while ago that Indy, they do one of the countdowns at Indy, and then there's another one to the end of the year. How does that work?
Regular season champion, $150,000 for the first time ever. Whoever has the most points after Indy, and it's going to be Austin, is that you need to know this because the money's going to you guys. $150,000, new thing in the NHRA.
Yeah, well, that's exciting, and he's earned it, and his dad, and that Cornwell Tools, that team, and they've really been good to me. But I've got to look at my list of sponsors Pete's been good to me. Chevrolet's been good to me. Monster Energy. We got to get Brittany back in the win game, but she's got a hot rod now that's starting to get consistent. It's been running those big numbers, those speeds. Grubnick's doing a great job, him and Cunningham. So it's just a matter of where we're going. We're going to Ray Hall's restaurant there at his new shop in Indy, and we're going to have a car showing there of some kind. They don't keep me up on what's going on, but I'm excited that my cars are there. I saw pictures, and they'll go over and have a press conference or lunch or something. I don't know, but and I'll be there. So, Graham Rahal has got his shops over there where his IndyCar teams are. But he really made it nice, and he put restaurants in and everything to generate revenue. So that's all cool. Graham's, Graham Rahal Performance and what he calls the task force. And that's not my name. It's the task force, with Rahal. And he's trying to raise money for charities and raise money for head injuries. So he's doing that. And, of course, all of my sponsors, Chevrolet, they all chip in. They're all part of it because I went through a head injury. And so we're getting better all the time. And Hendricks, he's on top of everything. And I call him too much. Hendricks, by the way, I'll quit calling. I'm driving you nuts. Just wanted to say that really love you and love what you're doing to keep me in business because, it's a tough racket, and we're getting through it.
That is so true. And Rick Hendrick has stepped up into the sport of drag racing in general and done a lot of great things. You mentioned Brittany's performances. Let's talk a little bit about Brittany and the job she has done. Of course, David Grubnick and the guys over there, JC, and but the 343, John, like that's ludicrous numbers. Those are numbers that I would not have guessed at the start of the season. We would have seen a 343. We hadn't seen 340 in Top Fuel, and David Grubnick has put up 343. I want you to talk about it from an excitement standpoint. I think race fans want to see that, and each of the last few races, including Brainerd, they got to see a 340. It makes buying a ticket worth it.
I really like Grubnick and Cunningham. These guys, am I getting my names right?
John Collins.
Yeah, John Collins. I apologize, John. They're a great team, and they work together. And got so many employees, I get them all confused. But to watch her run the big speeds, 340 something, but I want to keep her safe because I got a real wake up call. I thought you couldn't hurt John Forrest. Well, I learned I was wrong, and sponsors have really worked good with me to make it all possible. HendrickCars.com joining us, but I saw him over there with the Pro Stock kid, Anderson, and how good they were doing, and we were able to put it together. And I'm cutting a lot of deals I never cut before, but people are taking care of me to keep me in business. So I lost basically a year, and I was lucky that Cornwell signed and Course Peak signed. So we're back in the game. We're going to see where it's going to go. But the question you asked was Brittany. Yeah, she's my little girl. I love her like Courtney and Ashley and Adra, but I worry about them getting hurt because my crash was a wake-up call. You think you're Superman, and you're not. And I'm getting better. But to lay there and think of all I've accomplished, and then you look at your baby girl that she goes out there and runs those kind of speeds, and the people, DeJoria, so many people have come up and said, we're really excited for her that she's doing good. And they're just really good people. So she did good. She rock and rolled. She put them numbers up week after week after week. And I'm excited to see that because I'm really proud of her. She's not winning, but she's 4th or 5th in the points. And that's what I go by as the points. And she's doing really well.
Well, she was in a very close race the other day and just came out a couple of thousandths behind. And so it's gonna happen. John, I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about what you thought about, reflecting on your success. Very often in our sport, the person is always thinking about the future. I know you've thought about the future always, the next deal, the next win, the next championship, what's next. Not a lot of time spent on reflection about how amazing a career you've had. Did over the last year, did that happen? Did you think about your life and how you got from the guy who was in Southern California dreaming of being the next Snake or the next Jungle Jim to becoming the 6-time champ? What kind of thought did you put in as you recovered?
Well, you got to look at the people that got me here. Austin Coyle, him and Bernie Federley, like the greatest of all time. You go by the numbers, you don't go by me. But you look at, Bernie passed, and we're going to have a get together with him at the shop in Indy. My best friend in high school, Bob Fisher, he passed a few days ago, and we're going to have a thing here at Pomona for him that his daughter Colleen is putting together for her dad, and just a lot of things and a lot of people. He worked for me in the early days when I didn't pay him a paycheck, but I've been real lucky. I put the team together, for years ahead, and then Hendricks comes on board. He's trying to clean up all my problems. And of course, he's got his NASCAR teams, and they're doing good. But we're going to clean them up, and we're going to move. But I can't look back. That's not how I live. I look ahead, and I probably won't be in the driver's seat. Only a doctor will say that. But I'm thinking myself, I can't take another hit. But I've got good sponsors, Cornwell, Peak, and now Monster and Hendrick, Cornwell, Chevrolet, all these guys, Graham, they're all trying to help me keep me in business. So we'll see where this thing goes. And but I'm having a good time if I can get through all this medical stuff, because it drug on for a year, and now they're looking at what they're going to do about some things. And I know I look fine and I talk 100 miles an hour and everything, but I do have some things that I got to fix, and I will.
I love that. No, you got to go through the process, John, and we're lucky to have you. We're lucky that you are with us every day. And I know Brittany and your family has been very clear about that. I see you on the starting line, and I watch you, and you linger. You kind of play the back. You stay back from the cars. I'm sure maybe the shock of the car is part of it, but also it looks like to me that you're watching your teams from afar. What is that experience like for you? I can imagine you want to be in the car, and you're getting used to being on the starting line.
Well, these kids that work for me, they become my family. They've been with me forever. I mean, basically, I get a lot of credit, but I don't run my teams. Robert was running my teams, and now I've got new people. The guys in Indy, Proc and those guys in the machine shop, they stay on top of everything. Jimmy will call me and say, hey, we were going to test before Indy, then call back, we're going to test after Indy, because I got to watch the budget. I got to save every penny that I can. But I'm really, really proud of these kids, because when I go out to the races, I don't try to run it. I don't give them tuning tips. I tell my drivers, go get them. But Beckman, they all get in the fight. They know the drill. But the guys know how to run the cars. I don't have to lead in that. I never did. Robert was in the middle of that, but now they're doing good. So right now what I'm trying to do, to be honest, is I got to run my sponsorships. I got to make the money work, but I've got to run my part of the business. But to be out on that starting line, I don't need to be out there. I don't run the car. I don't need to take credit for it. I need to let them do their jobs. let them do the interviews, and I'll be doing some stuff at Indy. I'll be doing stuff, pitching and selling. That's what I do. And I'm excited, putting together a new deal. I've got a lot of drivers involved, but I got all my daughters are involved because they're not just drivers anymore. Ashley, Brittany, Courtney, they're owners now. They own my race teams. Maybe that's the first time I ever said it, but I'm excited where it's going, and I'll be signing a contract with a new group, and I've been with them for years, but we're trying to look at what we're going to do in the future, and it's pretty exciting.
New tower at Indy. Next year's the 75th anniversary of NHRA Drag Racing. There's a lot of big things happening, big announcements coming up later on as we get ready for the U.S. Nationals. But it's just always exciting to see how far the sport has come since you entered. When you entered the sport, you were doing it for a different reason. I don't think you ever would have imagined it would have gotten to this point. Maybe new TV contracts. We certainly hope so. But
Darren,
when you look back, did you ever imagine it would be this big?
Wally Parks took it, and they're going to do a thing on him next year to honor him, and that's big. And they're talking about maybe doing something with me down the road. Legends is the new group I'm going to sign with. I'm not used to saying it all the time, but they've been in a year. They bought Main Gate. So, but I'm going to put all my drivers, even the drivers in the past. But Bernie Federley, we're going to honor him at Indy. We're honoring just all the people, Austin Coyle, everybody that was a part of it. Because John Force, I come from being a truck driver, and I love that job. Okay, but all these guys around me are the ones that made me famous.
John, we thank you for coming on the show. I just wanted to check in with you. It had been since New England in 2024, our last conversation on the show. And you've been on for so many of your wins, and you're always full of energy talking to the WFO fans out there who love drag racing. And I felt like the time was right before the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals, with all kinds of big stuff getting ready to go down, to just reconnect with you and wish you well and make sure that our audience knows that you're doing well. And so I think we've accomplished that goal here today. And I just I can't wait to see you out there. And I appreciate the effort that you're making to stay a part of drag racing. Some people would have said, you know what, I'm going to go sit at home, and you are keeping it going. And that is admirable and amazing.
I got new sponsors that'll be announced here, a little bit later, but John Force is going to be around, be in business for a while.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see you at Indy. Here we go again. The big go, the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals. Thanks for spending a little time with us here on WFO.
Thanks for having me on.
There he goes. John Force, the 16-time champion, with us here on WFO Radio. And we will be back with more after this.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
I'm Steve Torrance, four-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when me and these Capco boys win races, we go straight WFO.
Oh, yes, Steve Torrance. We're going to see him back out there. I'm super excited about the John Force interview, guys. I was so wanted to connect with John before the big go, the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals, and the folks at John Force Racing made him available, and we were able to catch up with John the end of last week, and just amazing. This week at Graham Ray Hall Performance, they're going to reveal some really cool things. Didn't want to get ahead of that, but thanks to John for coming on WFO Radio and spending time with us, and thank you to everybody out there for sharing the show. And I just think that, you see John on the starting line, and he's been gracious enough to give us a few seconds of his time after one of the team's wins or Brittany's 343, amazing things. But to see him with a KTLA interview really was what did it for me. It made me think to myself, well, all right, we can have him back, and we're not going to lean on him too much. I see people talking about him driving a nostalgia car and him getting out there. And listen, I don't think that's where we are right now. I think it's amazing that we get to have John Force continue to be a part of NHRA Drag Racing, and his teams and the business and the system that he's created is going on to great things. So very excited about the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals and super fired up. Now, Richard Gadson is supposed to be joining me right now. Richard Gadson, who got the job done. We got a really cool show for you guys. We've got Richard Gadson seconds from now. Jordan Vandergriff is going to be back. And another gentleman that I was able to catch up with, Matt Stutzman, armless Matt Stutzman. That's what he goes by. He's a para-Olympian. He won a gold medal. He's going to tell his whole story. Hopefully you've seen the Phil Burgess column on NHRA.com, and now we're going to put life to it. But first, we're going to go out to, I don't know where he is, but he won Sonoma. And just like we said, the second win comes right after the first one. Richard Gadson joins us now. What's up, Richard? How are you?
How's it going, Joe? Thanks for having me, man.
Going great. So yeah, you didn't have to wait very long for win number 2 to come down the pike just like that. Here we go.
Yeah, no, it didn't take long. I kind of was hoping that was the case, because the first one was pretty hard to wait on. But the bike's been on a rail lately. I've been really comfortable on it lately, and I think we're starting to learn a lot about what was holding us back prior to now. And once you can't unlearn it. So I'm starting to learn how I want to race, how I like to race. Finding how to be consistent in my zone, and I think hopefully it doesn't stop at number 2. Hopefully we can keep this deal going.
Well, this would be a good weekend for that to be the case.
Yeah, very much so. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, just to be there competing for it at the U.S. Nationals, just to be in that position to be out here racing for something that prestigious. Somebody like me, that's like a crazy dream. So hopefully I can pull it off and make it all happen.
Okay, so a few years ago, one of the most, calling the shot, confident, that kind of deal, Eddie Krawick at Indy was something special. And I talked to him a couple of times leading up to it. And, you hang out with Eddie, but racing Eddie on the edge, he was mad. He came into that race mad. I'm going to kick all their asses. He said extreme things like that to me, just walking in the pits. And he went out and did it, man. A couple of years, Eddie Krawick, figured out how to psychologically put himself in the position to go out and channel his anger, his rage, and win the U.S. Nationals. And I thought it was amazing, because a lot of people could say that they're going to do that, but very few actually do that. Has Eddie coached you up at all now that you've won races and you can go into this race trying to win it?
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to hear, if he said all that stuff to you when he was riding, you should hear some of the stuff he says to me in my ear before I stage. It's definitely he's a confident guy. He thinks every round we go up there, we're supposed to win. He don't care who it is. And that's part of what I told you. When you start learning how you want to race, and you start, you're not just going up there making a pass and hoping your win light comes on. You start coming up with a way you want to approach rounds. And you're like, you know what, man, if I do everything that I'm supposed to do right now, I don't believe they can beat me. And those are, that doesn't mean it's going to happen that way, because the other guy in the other lane has a different plan. But, it at least helps you go up there feeling like, every round you can win. And that's another thing that's changed for me this year is, last year you kind of feel like you're in a position where you got to make miracles happen. Like you need to go up there and do some superhero stuff. And when you start getting a motorcycle and your confidence behind you and your team behind you, you can really kind of go up there and say, you know what, man, if I just do the same thing I did all day in qualifying, I can win this race. And that's a different That's a different confidence.
That see, and I love hearing that. Like, I want to ask you, and I know what everybody is thinking, right? Like, well, what are the things, Richard, that you learned that help you win? But you can't tell everybody that, because every racer must go through their own journey to find out those secrets. And if you say, well, it was this, and this, you're enabling your competition. So you have to keep it secret. But I would like you to elaborate as much as you can, because it does seem weird to someone who's sees you're a pro, you've been a pro, you've raced all kinds of motorcycles, but this new situation, I guess it was about the last 0.1% that makes the difference. So speak on that as best as you can.
Well, first, to piggyback on what you said, yeah, I'm like, I always make the analogy of Coach Greg Popovich. Any sports fans that know what I'm talking about, he does like a halftime report, the reporter stick a microphone in his face, and if they ask anything too specific, he'll just turn around and walk off mid-interview. He just doesn't answer it. But no, it's not, and the thing about what we do is I can say A, B, and C for me that worked for me, but it doesn't, that, everybody there's 50 different ways to skin the same cat. Everybody has something different, but you can learn something from almost anybody. So yeah, no, without specifics, I would say that like you said, it's the last 0.1%. You're getting to the point of, hey, I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm riding good. My bike's fast. Getting to from that point to my bike is one of the fastest in the class, and I'm one of the best. I'm riding as good as anybody in the class. That last little bit is a world apart, man. And I remember I'll tell this story sometimes. Last year, I can't remember what race it was, but I did something, and Terry Vance came over and he says, well, you changed your routine. That's because you changed your routine. And I was like, I don't have a routine. I'm still trying to figure it out while I'm racing, so that's the part that's cool about my journey in this deal is you guys have watched every single pass. For the most part, we test pre-Indy the last 2 years. Those are the only 2 times we've ever tested since I've been on this team. You guys have watched every run I've made on that motorcycle. So I didn't come into this with a game plan. I didn't come into this with a routine. I didn't come into this already a seasoned NHRA Pro Stock rider. It's been something I've had to learn how to do while you guys watch me do it. Gage's situation was a little different because when he came in, the class wasn't quite as tight as it is now, and he really kind of was able to hit the ground running. But he's even gotten, which is scary, he's gotten better from what he was that first year, and that's just a natural progression of what we do. These things are not very easy. They're easy to ride good. They're very hard to be perfect on, and it's not just as simple as the starting line all the time. It's not just as simple as your tuck or your shift points. I've probably missed less than, you can count on one hand how many shift points I've missed in 2 years. But just not making flawless runs has been something that I've been working on. And like I said, some of it's in the bike, some of it's in me, but we got them both clicking pretty good now.
Amazing. So real quick, let's go back to the final round. You and John Hall in Sonoma, wine country. A lot of fun was had. John Hall, man, this guy's doing really good also. That's why I think people are interested this year, because it's not, I noticed your shirt, by the way, but it's
that's a Herrera Racing shirt. Tell me I'm not the best teammate in the world.
You are.
I wear Gage's gear to work.
Was it free or did you buy it?
That's a good question. I need to check the receipts and see.
Yeah, how good a friend are you? Are you buying it? You take just wearing the free stuff. But John Hall, here's a guy, of course, Matt and Angie, and the field seems much more wide open because you got other people. And John Hall, this is his opportunity. If he's going to win something big, he's already won Indy, but if he's going to win something big, if he's going to win Sonoma, like, he's got the eye of the tiger too, to use the Rocky cliche, since you're from Philly.
Yeah, that's right. No, John's been on fire lately. You can never, the way we look at things is Matt's obviously top dog in your mind, right? But you can never, because they are all wild cards. They can all put a big number of it. It's quietly, nobody realized that Gianna went 429 against me first round of the shootout, and that would have been 660 something, but she had to roll out of it on the top end of the track. So like, they're all wild cards, and at any moment they can put a big number up. John has been like on fire lately. He's been solid on the tree. He's been solid making clean straight runs. He's been and he's been running big numbers. He's been low ET more than he's not been in the last 3 races or so. So these things, man, like I said, you got to treat all those guys the same. I'm proud of John. He's a personal friend of mine, but when we went up there for the finals in Sonoma, I kept thinking about Norwalk. And I'm like, man, you got away with murder in Norwalk. Not really. He deserved to win too, but I felt like that was my race to win based on the Christmas tree situation. And I said, you know what, he got away with Norwalk. And I was really, really, really mad from Saturday night still. And it was kind of like one of those deals where I said, I'm going to let it all hang out. I can't, if I lose this race, he's going to have to outrun me. And that's what we went up there and did. And he did a good job, but we got there first.
I loved that. I love what's happening in pro stock motorcycle. We're coming to my favorite time of the season where the intensity goes up. Of course, there's always intensity trying to win a Wally. Wherever we go, you got fans, but everybody knows you got to be good. Hey, this Nighthawk Motorsports, man, this guy is a big fan. He says that you're the 2025, you're going to win the championship. He says that you're going to set your best speed this weekend at over 2 over 3. So you're earning fans out there. And that's part of it. You've got to earn fans. We just had John Force on, and no one has earned more fans than that guy through his interviews, his personality, his candor, of course, his on-track performance, the chaos associated. I love that we're getting to know your character the more you turn on win lights.
That's something that, when I think about this, right, people talk to me about my interviews and they'll say, you say a lot. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to start being fabricated. I don't want to start being a person that thinks about what I got to say, because then you start sounding like a robot. And if you look at a person like John Force, like you said, he's been probably the most beloved person in our sport ever. There's nothing about his interviews that says he's being, I don't want to use the word professional, but he's just being John Force. He's just talking. He don't even halfway finish his sentence. Sometimes he's so all over the place. He's just yelling, screaming. He's being John, and people love him for it. So that's what I just try to do. I just try to be me. If I'm mad, I show that I'm mad. If I feel confident, I show that I'm confident. If I'm dejected, like I was Saturday night in Sonoma, you saw that I was dejected. I don't put on any faces. And I think that that's what helps for sure. And that's what people want to see. People want to see what you actually feel in that moment. So I'm having fun with it. The boys, I thought that a couple times I would like walk away from an interview or something. I'm like, the guys are probably going to be mad at me. And they never care. They're like, be you. I asked when I first got hired here, I'm like, what do you expect of me? They said to be you. So that's what I go up there and I do every time. But I've been having a blast just learning the fans and all of you guys, and just it's just been cool. Sonoma was really probably my favorite race with fan engagement and how into the race they are, and that charges us up too. When we know the fans are that engaged, it kind of gives us an extra boost as well.
Absolutely. We were all talking about this particular group of Sonoma fans was rowdy, and they were engaged, and they had a good time. That's what happens when someone goes 343 on Friday night. Everybody has a little extra buzz going on. Richard, I don't know the answer to this question. What do you do? Like Gage goes to work. Gage is like a worker. What about you during the week? When
Same.
You're not, what do you do?
Same. I go to work. I work at Vance and Hines. Prior to now, I did not. I owned my own towing company, and when I got this offer from Vance and Hines, I told him, I said, listen, they only offered me a ride, but I said, if I can't work at the shop, I'm going to fail miserably at this. I'm going to disappoint you guys. I'm going to disappoint myself because I can't meet the demands of my off the racetrack life and race NHRA. It just wasn't going to work. So 2 months later, they actually offered me a position here, and I would say I do a lot of maybe we'll call it a product development role. We're making ECUs for dirt bikes, and I'm one of the only people in the building that knows the software of the ECU that we use. Our new Hayabusa and G6R 1000 exhaust systems that we just put out. Those are all pretty much my idea to Eddie's execution to Danny and Antanasio and Mike Hassick welding, and kind of a joint effort. But those were from my idea, from being on the ground with the people that are out there, from being, just 2 years ago, or a year ago, I should say, I was at every no bar grudge race there is in the country. And I know what those guys are looking for. I know what they want. So bringing in what I know the outside world is looking for and bringing it to a team that's capable of bringing those things to light has been really, really, really cool. It's translated into great sales on our exhaust systems, and that's pretty much what I do every day.
I love that.
Oh, and maintain the pro stock bikes too. That's the cool part. in between races, I service and maintenance. I try to touch Gage's bike as little as possible because that thing is a machine. And if anything ever happens, I don't want it to be, oh, Richard put that on. So I try to touch his as little as possible. Andrew and Jay Craywick do his, but me, I'm on my bike, the rental, Kelly's if it's here, so on and so forth. But we all pitch in and do what we got to do.
I love it. I love it. All right. Before we let you go, the U.S. Nationals, you mentioned it. This time of year, you check out social media. It's made who's saying it's not as good as it used to be. Like, I don't even know what the point of making that point is, right? Either like it or you don't. It's this year's Super Bowl isn't as good as 3 years ago Super Bowl. Like, it is the Super Bowl. And we're going to have a whole different one every time. We got a new tower. We got new positive things going on. Just what's your outlook personally as you get geared up for this event, more in context of the event as opposed to your individual race?
This is our like you said, it's a good analogy. This is sort of our Super Bowl. I mean, it's not at the end of the year, but it is our biggest race of the year. And, to say it's better or worse is it depends. Like, what are the points battles looking like? What's at stake in the classes? Who's the underdog that can kind of pull off a surprise? What's happening? Like this now we have a regular season championship. It's a lot going on in these 5 days, and we got 5 qualifiers. We get that many. You got the last Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge event of the year. You got a lot of stuff happening at Indy. So I would think that, as I always tell people that say they don't like NASCAR, and they're like, oh, it's just cars going around a circle 300 times. I'm like, yeah, but if you get into the teams and the drivers and you start understanding what they're doing, their strategies, who's drafting who and why, and what they're trying to do to position themselves, it brings a whole different ball game to them making left turns 300 times. But that's what it is to me for the U.S. Nationals. One is it's the U.S. Nationals. It's Indy, but it's mostly, man, we all are jockeying for position. It matters. I know we go in the countdown to the championship only. I don't even know. I should know the rules. I think we're only 20 points apart. But those 20 points, I promise you, somebody's going to be counting those 20s in Pomona at the end of the year. So we're all jockeying for position. We want to win the regular season championship. We want the trophy of the U.S. Nationals. It's a lot going on. You got to dive a little deeper into the details.
I agree. Like football, the Super Bowl, it's guys in, colored tight pants running back and forth. We could diminish it to its core basicness if we want, but we're not going to do that. And for you guys, like, you got a chance to win this race. So it's got to be the greatest one that's ever happened. Richard, thanks for spending a little time with me. I will see you in a couple days. Super excited. Good luck in the big go.
Thank you for having me, bud. I'll see you soon. Hopefully I force my way back on here again after the U.S. Nationals.
There you go. Yeah, man. Go
buddy.
get next to Eddie Craywick. Tell him to tell you what he was thinking.
I'm going to ask him. I'm going to say, what were those things you told yourself when you won? Don't worry. I'll find out.
All right, Richard. Later, buddy.
Have a good one, guys. Yep.
Richard Gadson with us here on WFO Radio. The guy is emerging as a great personality, as a star, and he is going to force his way back on WFO in the future. I have no doubt. We've got some really good stuff going on, guys. I see your comments out there. I see you weighing in, talking a little bit about, just positive and negative, like participation spots now, sadly. Man, I don't know if I don't think it needs to be hashed out that much. Like, the rules are the rules. Should there be a wild card in baseball? Should there be 2 wild cards? Like, is the second wild card a participation spot? Like, baseball fans don't do that. Only drag racing fans do that. And I think it has a lot to do with, and I'm not saying you, Drag Race Mayhem, I'm just saying a lot of people have the inability to talk about what Richard was talking about, the positive things. Like, Richard is 70 behind Gage in the points for the regular season championship. So Gage would have to lose first round and Richard would have to go to the final, as I've got it. That's interesting. Now, Richard doesn't want that to happen to his Vance and Hines teammate, but he'll be happy to collect it if it were to come his way. There's a lot going on. The funny car call out, the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, but just laboring on these points. There's someone who's posting the entry list every week. Oh, look, there's only 132 super comp cars instead of 150s. Oh, it's not as good as it once was. I plan to make a case for lowering the quotas for super comp and super gas and adding super street. I think this is a good move for you at the NHRA to undertake, because why make the super streeters stay home from the U.S. Nationals so we can have 150 super comp cars and 150 super gas cars? Let's have 120 each. Let's open up 60 spots for super street. They've got smaller rigs and they've got really cool cars and people love them. It's like one of the favorite categories out there. Just saying. All right. Speaking of other cool categories, Top Sportsman is going to be going. And I did an Instagram reel in Brainerd with Matt Stutzman. He's a para-Olympian. He's a gold medalist. We talked for 90 seconds. And the guy is captivating. He's an interesting character and personality. And you guys got to see him. So we did an interview. It was the end of last week. He was on his way to Indy, to the area, and we were able to catch up. I want you to check out Matt Stutzman and tell me what you think. Jordan Vandergriff will follow, and that's going to happen after this.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Here we go. Matt Stutzman.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
I'm Steve Torrance, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when me and these Capco boys win races, we go straight WFO.
Oh, you know it. WFO Radio getting ready for the Cornwell Tools U.S. Nationals. And the world is headed to Indy, and we are catching up with a lot of great racers who've got big dreams. But this next guest blew my mind in Brainerd, Minnesota. We did a little social bit. It went crazy because everyone wants to know more about this guy, gold medalist in the Paralympics in Paris, France, 2024, Mr. Matt Stutzman. Matt, welcome to WFO Radio. How are you?
I'm awesome. Hey, thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. The last time we spoke, it was up in the air whether or not you were going to run Indy, whether you could get in, all of those things. Your experience in Brainerd, we'll talk about it, but it sounds like you're headed to the big go.
It was a long shot at the beginning of the year with grade points and, first year out with this combo, and how we got to work out the bugs. So it literally was like a Hail Mary pass. And it was after Brainerd, I went online and I realized that there was still a couple spots available. So I signed up real quick, and then the next day I got an email confirming that I was in, and I've been on cloud 9 ever since.
This is amazing. This is an amazing story, and your story. I'd heard some things about you, but when I heard you were in Brainerd, Minnesota, to be able to come down and see you and watch you on the starting line, it just opened up so many different things. But let's start from the beginning, right? So I went back and I saw the arrow of your life to win the gold medal in the 2024 Olympics. You had got the silver in 2012, so you know what it's like to have to wait for your opportunity. You had silver medal is great, but it's not the gold. 12 years later, you got the gold. Tell me about that journey through archery. We've got a video, but I want to hear about it first. I want everybody to understand where this all comes from, this competition, the competitive nature, and the drive to succeed.
When I was younger, I knew that I was competitive. I knew that I was in love with motorsports and things like that. And honestly, it took me a while to kind of find myself because when I got older, I couldn't find a job, and people wouldn't hire me because I looked different. And then here I am in 2010 at the end of the year, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to provide for my family, and I decided to pick up a bow. And at that time, it literally was just like, I'm going to try this out and we'll see how this goes. And little did I know it was going to take me on an amazing adventure that, I now call life or whatever. But I remember Googling how to teach an armless man how to shoot a bow, and nothing came up. So I was like, oh no, I'm literally going to have to do this on my own. And so I still went out and got a bow, the only bow I could afford, and I taught myself how to shoot it. And I remember going to my first tournament and getting basically last place. But it was a time in my life where I realized that the bow didn't care that I had no arms. It just wanted to compete. And so that's when I decided, hey, let's try to become known as the world's best archer, followed by the statement, did you know he does it with no arms? So I started chasing that goal, chasing the Paralympic dream, trying to chase just becoming the best. And like you said earlier, in 2012, only like a year after I began shooting, I find myself in London. From London till now, or Paris, that was probably the longest part of my journey because, I kept coming up short. I kept going to all these big tournaments and getting second or third. And I just stayed patient, and finally everything came to play. In fact, I would like to contribute the reason why I was successful in Paris to actual drag racing.
Do tell. We love drag racing as little kids, Snake and Mongoose, Big Daddy, all that old school stuff. Tie it together. You're a kid, and I want to talk about being jobless. Like, people wouldn't hire you, and then you won the gold medal, and they're like, "Come work for us, Matt." It's funny. It's funny how that happens. But where does drag racing come in? Where do cars come in early on?
When I was little, this is before archery and stuff, I remember a guy came to my dad, and I grew up on a farm, right? And a guy came to my dad and he goes, hey, I got this motorcycle. I don't think your son can fix it because he has no arms, but if he can fix it, he can have it. And I didn't know anything about engines or any of that stuff, but I remember wanting to prove that guy wrong so bad that I took the motor apart, took the carburetors apart, and I learned how it worked, and I put it all back together, and I kicked the starter, and it started. And that's where my love for racing really came in, because immediately that's another one of those moments in my life where I was like, this bike doesn't care that I have no arms, right? Like, it doesn't. I was able to fix it with my feet and feel proud of that fact. And so from then on, I've always loved motorsports. But we're going to talk a little bit about Paris. So I've been into drag racing for probably 13 years, and I progressed to where I'm at. But it wasn't until I'm trying to figure out how to win in Paris, and I'm analyzing everything else in the past, and I've learned that when you're in that big stage, so Olympics, you get one medal, you train 4 years for it, and then it all comes down into one day, and it's single elimination. So that's a lot.
And it would seem we're experiencing technical difficulties. We had some sort of a power spike or something. But I'm going to try to bring us back to Matt Stutzman. That was a bizarre circumstance, but we're going to get right back into it. Let's bring him back. Thank goodness it's pre-recorded, right? Yeah. Or you don't have to see that again.
Like, hey, you're coming to the track. Would you bring it and show us how to do it? I'm always
here we go.
And driving cars and trucks and things like that. And so I think it just kind of fit. Like, it's just the best way for me to do is design a car that fits me but can easily be switched back.
Tires, it's like it's chopped morning. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I got a problem. The's a reason, whatever.
My best to ever try to beat him, right? Like that's how I take racing and archery. But my life is completely different because people now see that, yes, I have no arms, and most people wouldn't think you could do stuff or live your life how you want to live it. And yet here I am chasing those dreams and living that life. And it's motivating people. Like people are seeing me what I'm doing. And even at Brainerd, we fought a couple issues with electrical systems. And at one point the mag went bad, which is crazy to me, but it did. But even then, the people that just came up to me and that were just supportive of what I was doing, and they couldn't believe that a guy without arms is doing this. And they would literally say to me like, wow, like my life isn't that bad. I feel like I can accomplish more. Like, that's really where it's at, right? Like to me, that was the reward, right? Not necessarily, I would love to win a Wally, but the reward is that I can use my life as an example to maybe make other people's lives better.
I had a great conversation with Randy Meyer about exactly that. And some people, he said to me, he goes, and some people can't get out of bed in the morning. You know what I mean? They can't do it. I got a problem. There's a reason, whatever the reason is. And then you look over at Matt, and Matt's doing what he wants to do. Archery. I don't know how to do archery. Let me go learn. Google. Oh, nothing. Let me figure it out. Gold medal. Okay. Now drag racing. Let's watch a couple videos though. I want people to understand the car. This is a very serious car. Here's a still photo. These are just little videos I grabbed while we were at the track real quick. I wish I had done a better job, honestly, Matt. But you went 214 miles per hour. Let's check out this first one. Let's see what nice little walk around on the car. That's a great looking little race car. You say it's a McCamus car?
Yep. It is. It has some unique features with the front clip has that hump over the front tires, which you don't see a lot of anymore.
I love the bump on the front tires. It's like it's chopped, it's down low. That is amazing. There's Randy Meyer right there. The back of Randy Meyer wearing his HusseyPerformance.net gear. And let me see. We got a burnout one too. We got a burnout. Let's see the burnout. This is the run where you went 214. And again, I was totally unprepared for what I was about to see. I was figuring out everything as it was going, like, wait a second. This man is driving. And that's when I came over, and a little quickie here, I think, of the interior of the car. And that's the thing. You got this, the steering wheel column. The steering column is cut so you can easily maneuver your leg around in there to steer the car.
Absolutely. Like that's about the only modification I did on the whole car. I shortened the steering column like 12 inches. So I literally look like I'm in a recliner when I'm in the car, like just super comfortable, laid back, my feet up on the, like that's kind of what it looks like. And I wanted the design that way because if I ever decide that I want to go faster, it would have to be in a dragster. And if I ever decide I want to sell this chassis to go another route, like if I chop it all up for me, I'll never be able to sell it,
True.
Yeah. And those cost a lot of money. So, honestly though, I've been driving tractors since I was little, probably 8 or 9 years old and driving cars and trucks and things like that. And so I think it just kind of fit. Like it's just the best way for me to do is design a car that fits me, but can easily be switched back. In fact, you could be driving that car in about 15 minutes. I can switch it all back with the steering that you could probably drive that car in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I can't go that fast. I've never been that fast. I've been 186 a couple times, and it was fast. I'm not going 214 right out of the box, Matt. Sorry. I need a warm up.
I've always wanted to know what an arrow felt like because my arrow does about 200 miles per hour. Now I know.
You're faster than the arrow. Speaking of that, let's watch a little video that you sent about you shoot. First of all, not only are you a gold medalist, but I understand you have the record for the farthest shot, 310 yards, which in my book is like 930 feet or something. That's the length of the track pretty much. Let's watch this arrow shot, and then you tell us about some of these accuracy. All right, what are we looking at?
So right now we're at a track, and I'm showing the people that showed up, the audience or the crowd that came down, how accurate I am. And I'm actually shooting right there, 330 feet. So that's half track of an 1/8 mile. It was windy, and the balloon was blowing all over the place, and Nailed it on the first try.
That is wild. So you had a balloon out there.
I had a balloon out there. Yeah. Well, all's that weekend because that weekend we had another issue with the car, and I just reminded myself that I'm still a better archer than a racer as of now.
as of now. And are you down to do that kind of stuff? I'm not suggesting we do it in Indy, but you're a gold medalist. Well, you're a gold medal Olympian. So that's all right. So you have your bow with you at all times?
I don't have it right now, but people request it, like, hey, you're coming to the track, would you bring it and show us how to do it? I'm always down for doing that.
That is amazing. All right, so let's talk about the 214. I know you didn't go that far in eliminations in Brainerd, but if memory serves me right, you ran into a very tough run first round. I was not on the mic for that run. What happened in Brainerd?
Yeah, we've been fighting. It's weird. We've been fighting an electrical issue. We put a brand new battery in the car, and then ever since then, the car has been acting all up. So it wouldn't shift. So what happened in Brainerd is that it wouldn't shift from 2 to 3, and we found out it was in the electronics. So we do have that fixed now, but we thought we had to fix at Brainerd, and we went out for the second round because we ended up winning the first round by the guy broke out, so he gave me a gift. And then we went back and we troubleshot, fixed it, and got it to work in the pits. Went back out for round 2, and sure enough, the same thing happened on 2-3 shift. It just wouldn't shift. The transmission's fine, but like I said, it was electronic. So, but it is fixed now because last weekend I went to Eddyville to do some testing, and guess what? For the first time in my life, I qualified number 1 at an event. Let's go! Like, I was so pumped. Like I could, like, the car went right down through there. I qualified to number 1. We've actually been faster than 214 now. We've been almost 217. Just letting you know. Like it's I don't know. It's been awesome. Like just how everything is progressing and getting better. We're treating this weekend, and we're going to World Series of Drag Racing for test sessions specifically for U.S. Nationals. So I'm not competing there. I'm doing like a exhibition pass. But those are for U.S. Nationals because I would love to come out at U.S. Nationals and qualify in the top, 10 at least.
Very possible. Obviously, everybody with fast cars shows up, but top sportsman, I think it's very possible, and we'll just have to see how it all goes. Indy, huge, big new tower, a lot of media. All right, has this all been positive, though? Is there someone somewhere that I would like to think, since the days of Shirley Muldowney showing up, and someone said, "You can't do that. You're a woman." And she did it, and she whooped everybody and won 3 championships. That people don't tell other people what they can't do in drag racing. We've seen it so many times, but I would hope that you have been totally welcomed. Is that true?
Yeah. So I'll just put it this way. So I understand 2 things. I understand that it's awesome that people are watching me do what I do, but I also understand I'm also going to be under a microscope more than your average racer because of my disability. And yes, I take all the precautions. I did everything that, NHRA asked me to do as far as for safety. In fact, I went above and beyond it. But accidents sometimes happen. So what I do get is a little bit of the keyboard warrior people who, what happens at 200 if your axle breaks? And I'm like, I'm along for the ride, just like anybody else who has an axle that breaks, I would like to think that I'm a good driver. I've been driving for a long time. Accidents do happen. There's been twice in my career where a car's got sideways or whatever, and I've been able to save it, never hit a wall. And once that happened, I had a lot of the doubters kind of quit doubting my abilities to drive a car. But other than that, like, let me just be honest here. Even in archery, there was haters, right? There was always people like, oh, he uses his feet and that's an advantage. And so I've learned to just kind of block all that stuff out and just do me and be as safe as I can. As far as the actual racers that I'm racing, they're all amazing. They're all like absolutely, completely fine with it. Open arms. That's why I love this sport so much, because they literally treat me like normal, right? Like they treat me as another racer. When I come to the track, they're like, hey, Matt, the racer's here. They're not like, hey, it's Matt, the guy without arms, like, they might say that, but like ultimately they understand I'm a competitor and a racer, and I love that I'm getting that kind of respect.
I love that too. No, well, that's how we position our sport And I think those of us that grew up in and around it have felt that way. Erica has said it, and Brittany has said it. Like, don't want to be the best female racer, want to be the best racer. Everybody that comes from a different group, or, we don't even need to talk about it, right? Like, we don't even need to talk about it, which I think is so exciting for you to be here as well. There's no, and I mean this in a good way. There's not like a para racing. There's racing, and you're in it.
I want to win a Wally, and I want to beat the best of the best top sportsman racers in the world to get it, right? Like, that's what I want to do. And yeah, I don't know if I'll have it this time, but
right, because everybody out there is really good. And on that note, let's talk a little bit about the team, right? You had a bunch of people helping you. I was introduced, I do not recall, but this is not in no way is any race team a one-man gang. You got to have people supporting you. I saw Allianz and I saw Google, and I know you've got some sponsors, but like, give me the team layout. Like, who helps you? How's it work? Everybody, my buddy Rick, who has got a top sportsman car, he has to go to the track with people. Otherwise, you can't run top sportsman. Just getting to the lanes is a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So at home between race weekends, 99% of the work is done by me. So like, I'm in the garage, I'm pulling the blowers, I'm pulling heads, I'm pulling the bottom end apart, and I'm putting it all back together and switching out bearings. And, that's stuff that I do. But at the track, because of the turnaround time and just the way that everything is going, I have, with that, I got Christian, who is kind of like second in command, and he's in charge of pretty much most of the stuff that is backing me up and making sure everything on the line is going good, setting RPM, that kind of stuff. Then you got Gary. They help in the pits as far as setting valves, because every round we got to pull it apart and check it out. I do have a gentleman. His name is Bruce Mistatish, and his son Jared. And I probably messed their names up. If so, I apologize. I've been friends with them for a while, and I just call him Bruce. But they help on the tuning side and troubleshooting side. So, like, I feel like I'm a pretty decent tuner. But sometimes when I get into a little bit of a situation, I might say, hey, I might give them a call, show them videos of the track, and we discuss kind of where we're at. And then I upload it in the car, and we change the tune up a little bit and that kind of stuff. But that's kind of the team basics. It's very small. I don't have a lot of people that, I don't pay anybody. Even if I tried, they wouldn't accept any money. They're really, from what I can tell, they're just helping me achieve my dreams. And if you ask them at the track at Indy, when you see them, they're going to say the same thing. We just want to see Matt get to his goals. And I think that's pretty cool to have those type of people around you.
I agree. It's, normally I would say, like, what would you say to people to motivate them? You don't need to say anything. You need to just keep doing your thing. And it is amazing. Like, you talk about pulling cylinder heads. Like, I can't even imagine the effort that has to go in to the most basic things. Last night I got a little Super Street car, right? I'm underneath with the end oil retention device, the diaper, and it's fighting me every step of the way, Matt. Like, everything. Like, I can't get up in there. And you are battling a top sportsman pro mod style car, doing the basic maintenance, driving the car. It's incredible. All right, so what's it gonna mean to pull out from under the tower at the Big Go, the U.S. Nationals, the biggest, most significant drag race on the planet, and regardless of what happens at the race, to have that moment, what's that going to be like?
So I actually talked to the team about it yesterday, and our focus is to enjoy the moment. It's not about winning this one, right? Like, because this dream has been so long coming. I would say that this is probably tied, if not a little bit, has the edge on the winning the gold medal at the games. Because you got to remember, I wanted to be in the racing industry well before I understood archery. Like, I remember as a kid, listening to even NASCAR and, religiously, like, I just wanted to race a car professionally. Like, that was my dream my entire life. And now here I am, kind of making my semi-pro debut at the largest racing event in the world. And so I'm probably going to be a little emotional, but my training from the games will kick in, and I will celebrate that first pass after that first pass goes down. But it's monumental. It's huge. It's something that I've been working for a very long time. and a tier 2 probably would be okay.
Yeah, I agree. A tier 2 will be okay, and it will not be the first, and hope will not be the last at that historic race facility. And that's what it's for. That's why we do these events. That's why it's called a meet, because people from far and wide can set their goal to be there someday and be there and do it. Matt, I'm super excited. Your story is amazing. I love the way, and your personality too. You're a big personality too. Like it wouldn't be as cool if you were boring.
I gotta tell you the story real quick. I drive my RV and my trailer. Like, that's me driving this 80-some foot unit around. And it's funny because if you're in the slow lane and people pass you and you wave with them with your foot, that's the facial expressions you get is insane. Like, so you gotta live life, and you gotta enjoy life, and you gotta have fun with it as well.
That's it. Watch out though. They might crash into you. You know, never underestimate other people's ability to be bad at whatever it is they're doing.
That's true. Well, listen, once I told the crew, let's just make it to Indy, and then we can take a sigh, and whatever happens after that is good, but let's just make it to Indy.
Yes. No, it's going to be great. And I've been going to this race since NHRA hired me to work on their announce team. And there's a magic there. And some will say that Indy's best days are in the past, and they are totally wrong. Every year there are stories that rise above. And sometimes it's Top Fuel, and sometimes it's Hemi Challenge, and sometimes it's Stock Eliminator. And we just don't know what the story is going to be this year. And there will be multiple. And so I wish you the best of luck going out there, getting there with your test leading into the week. And I really appreciate you making the time to come on the show. Guys, he pulled over. He stopped at a truck stop. Like, this is he made an effort to be with us here on WFO Radio. Matt, for our audience, where can they follow you and your social beyond the U.S. Nationals upcoming? Give all that stuff so our guys can follow you.
Yeah, so I'm building my Instagram and my TikTok right now, Facebook as well. It's all under like the Armless Archer or armlessmatt.com. You can follow me there. I know the Armless Archer has nothing to do with racing, but it's stuck, and it is what it is. I'm the Armless Archer Drag Racer, and I love every part of that. So that's where you can follow me.
Yes. No, I like the alliteration, Armless Archer, that there's something with that. And I don't know, archery seems like a crossover thing. I like you bringing those people into drag racing. Like, we need all the help we can get also. So if fans of Paralympics and fans of archery can find a connection with drag racing, like, oh, these drag racers, they have to use their mental capacity to overcome nerves, to be perfect. That helps us also. We can use every fan we can get. So Matt, I appreciate what you're doing. Can't wait to see you on the track, man. We'll see you over there.
It's going to be awesome. Once again, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, back on the road. There he goes. Matt Stutzman with us here on WFO Radio. And like Randy Meyer said to me, and some people can't get out of their own bed. It should be an inspiration to everybody that anything can be possible with grit and will and determination. And he's amazing. And who knows? Goes around, goes 2 rounds. You never know at the big go. And that's why so many people from around the country are headed that way. All right, when we return, we're going to keep on going here on this edition of WFO Radio. We will be back after this.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
That's right. We are back. Final segment, WFO Radio. Matt Stutzman. What just an inspirational feat. Go out there and win the gold medal. Paralympics. Great stuff. We got one more guest, though, who has also done some pretty cool things, and we're going to bring him on right away, Mr. Jordan Vandergriff. What's up, Jordan?
What's up, Joe? Hey, talk about an inspiration. I was listening in. Matt, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Just listening to Matt.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're an athlete. You played baseball, competitive baseball through college and whatnot, and you understand the athletic side of it and how the mindset can be the same, but this guy has overcome so many obstacles and he's got such a great attitude, and now he's a drag racer.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I was listening in to some of that interview, and it's just the drive, the passion that he has to succeed. I mean, it just pours through him. He's got a great attitude about it, and I'm gonna have to go watch him run for a few. I'm gonna go watch his first run. He was excited about the first run. He said he was gonna get emotional, so I gotta make sure I'm up there for it.
I hope so too. Yeah. Phil Burgess did a story on NHRA.com. I would love to be up there as well. And what can you say? It's going to be amazing. I think there'll probably be some crossover media. Like someone should pay attention to this. This seems like a pretty big deal. Your story is great though too, right? I am happy. Here's where your story comes in. When you told me it wasn't locked that you were going to run Indy with Shawn Reed,
right.
I was a little disappointed because I felt like, man, you just went through all this reacclimating to the car, and now they're going to put you out. And they're not going to put you out. They're going to take money from someone else, money that they need to keep going, and give somebody else a chance to acclimate to the car. That's not going to be successful. If they want to win the U.S. Nationals, you're the best opportunity. And it seems like they came to that conclusion as well. You guys together. Walk me through how that happened.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Joe. And yeah, it was a lot for us. A lot of, me stepping in for Shawn. And first of all, thank you to Shawn and Reed Trucking Excavating and all of the guys who make this happen. I mean, obviously, I'm very fortunate to be able to do this because of that, because of Shawn's decision to choose me and get back in the car. But yeah, we have been up here with the guys. I'm back up here in Indiana with the guys again. And we took some time getting me acclimated and getting the procedures down. There's a lot of different things that, you don't really think about, just like starting line procedures, backup, who backs me up, who brings me to the lines, who's bringing me in, all different kinds of stuff that we've kind of worked out now, being in Brainerd. And so now we got that down. And yeah, the chance for Indy was kind of up in the air. And I got a phone call and Shawn said, you know what, I think we're going to stick with you. I think we got a good shot with you, and I want to see you race my car again. So it's been great. I've had so many people help me get to this point, like Eric from Impact, he was great. Randy from Nitro Graphics, they've been great as well. And then Jordan from Stilo, they all helped me out, get to Brainerd, and now everything they helped me with, I get to do it again in Indy, and I get a shot at Indy, Joe. I mean, I can't believe, if you told me at the beginning of this year that I was going to have a shot at the Big Go, I would not have believed you, but it's happened. So here we go.
At the start of the year, I said something along the lines of, I'm not going to give any oxygen to the haters and the people that put out negative things. Clearly, I have not done a good job of keeping that promise, because I'm on social, and it's every once in a while there's a post that's just so unnecessary. It's like, wait a second, like Richard Gadson is going to Indy with a shot to win. He definitely doesn't think it's not as good as it was 7 years ago or 10 years ago. Matt Stutzman is going to his first Indy. He's like making people cry with his story. And you're on the shelf. You don't know if you're going to get another opportunity. And here you are now going to the U.S. Nationals. And Jordan, with a legit shot to win, a fast car, Rob Wendland. I think Rob Wendland has won this thing pretty recently with Terry McMillan, and now you're driving with him. It is not worse than it once was. This is exactly what it is right now.
Indy, the Big Go, it will always be Indy, and it's such a huge race for every drag racer out there. I mean, you listen to it on this show, everybody who's going to Indy to have a chance at it is super excited. And I'm one of those people, like we talked about beginning of this year, I was holding a microphone for Fox and didn't think I was going to be working this race, but from that aspect, and yeah, I get this shot in Indy and with this race car and this team, the Shawn Reed Racing team, Joe, let me tell you, these guys are legit. Rob Wendland, Ryan Elliott, and the guys. This car is fast. This car's so fast. I mean, we proved it in Brainerd. We hopped out there. I needed a little time to get acclimated to the race car again. But by the end of qualifying, Q4, we go number 3. And we go out and get a first round win and come up a little short second round. But the performance was there. The car was there. I've just got to be a little better. I think if I get some more runs under my belt, I'll be there. But yeah, coming into Indy with a really, really good shot. I think we know that as a team. I think we're really confident. And I think that I'm more confident as a driver, getting those runs in Brainerd and feeling more comfortable, feeling with the car. I think Joe, I think we got a great shot. There's a full field, but we're one of the cars to look out for. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, get qualified, right? The old Don Schumacher saying, like, first we've got to get qualified, and then we'll work from that point. But let's talk about what's different. Okay, 5 years goes by, technology changes. Rob said that the clutch is different. Yep. There's a lot going on. I think Shawn is probably very happy that you got in the car, and your reaction times were not like lightning, just Ashley reaction times. Like maybe you uncovered something that they wouldn't have fully understood was the situation had you not gotten in the car.
Yeah, but I think Joe, I think I've come to terms with maybe the fact I've been out of the car for a while. I haven't hit a tree in a while, so I've got to take ownership of that. These guys put together a great race car, a very quick, fast race car. So I've taken ownership of that. I've got to be better. Look, I've thought about it this last week, and you're right, I wasn't lightning quick, but I will be better. I've worked on it this week, and my goal is to be one of the best in that category like I once was. So I think it's just about hitting the tree, getting some more reps. And with the 5 qualifiers here in Indy, I think I'm going to have even more of those reps going into race day. So, and I think I'm in the tasties too. So I'll be racing on Saturday, I believe. I think I'm filling in for Billy. You can maybe verify that for me, Joe, but I think I'll be racing even more this weekend. So any real race reps I can get, it's super important to me right now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to get this opportunity in this race car, but I'm going to take full advantage of it for sure.
Well, you definitely should. I know you got a lot of people helping you out. I cannot verify that because you just broke that news to me, but I believe you. Okay. I think you guys would know.
Galvin was texting me. That's why. So
all right. Yeah, Galvin. Well, he's in the mothership. He knows, like, if Billy's not coming, and then they take the quickest loser to fill that spot. And if that's you, that's great. Great opportunity to get out there. But what are you doing pissing off Austin Prock, though? Let's forget this driver, Jordan. You fired this guy up even more. He said that it was you that lit the fire under him about the reaction time, and he goes out there and gets his head. He's got this vein, and that was because you showed him some stats.
Look, I didn't know that vein existed. Okay, that's the first time I saw that vein, but I didn't mean to. Look, I promise you I didn't mean to. We were all hanging out at his house. I had just gotten into town, and I listened to the interview with you and Austin on WFO. And how he explained it. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it went. We were just sitting around. He had just made dinner, and I got the packet from Fox, and it had all the stats. And I just wanted to look up. I was just looking up the Reed car stuff. I want to see where they ranked on the laps time, things like that. Just get familiar with where those numbers were, in contention with everybody who was going to be at the race. So I was just looking at them, and I kept scrolling down, and I got to the funny car numbers, and I didn't think much of it. I was like, we were talking about wins on the year, talking about hole shots, things like that. Because the packet I get, it lists a lot of different things. And I just kind of got to reaction time, and I just was like, you're tied. You're tied for first. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, with who? I said, well, looks right here, like with Matt Hagan. He goes, okay. And it was kind of, it was okay at first. It was very okay at first. And then, 30, 45 minutes later, we kind of walk in the kitchen, and he goes, man, I really wish you wouldn't tell me that. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he goes, now I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. And now we see that he thought about it all weekend, and he came into Sunday just a different race driver. And I think he was the best. He said it himself. He might've been the best he ever has been on that Sunday. So I texted him after. I said, I think I deserve a little bit of that prize money for inspiring you a little bit more on Sunday. And he said, no money, but I'll make you dinner 2 more times. I said, you know what? I'll take that deal. You cook very well, so I'll take that. But yeah, I didn't mean to piss him off, but I'm sorry for the funny car class. I didn't mean to do it, but hey, he went out there. He still performed. It's still an awesome proc. So kudos to him.
Yes, but you pissed him off, and he gave you credit, and now he's going to make you dinner. That's nice. That's a nice little take or a little something. You lit a fire under him. And the packet, sometimes I have one around here, the printed version that producer Pete puts out. I assume you're talking.
It could be like this big printed out. It's huge.
Not the kind of thing you can reference like on the air, but it's great for studying in advance. It's good stuff. Jordan, best of luck. Anybody else you want to thank for putting you here in this position? We want to see you do well. We want Shawn back, though, also. Would love to see you out there full-time next year. Who can help make this happen?
Yeah, look, first of all, I just want to, I want to thank Shawn Reed again. Shawn's done so much for me already with these first 2 races. I mean, look at me, Joe. I look like a top fuel driver. Look, look at this. I look the part now. I've got Redline, Matco Tool Star Racer belts, Summit, everybody who helps out this team. Thank you so much. And like I said, Eric from Impact, he's been fantastic. They got me all hooked up, and I look great in their suit. And then Randy from iTruck Graphics, we've had to get a bunch of stickers made for this race car, get it ready to go with the little people that I needed. And Randy has taken care of us. And then Jordan Killen from Stilo needed a new helmet. He really helped me out and got me ready. And I look and I feel like a Top Fuel racer again, Joe. I know it's not going to last a while this year. Maybe we'll see. It's to be seen. I want it to happen for next year, but for right now, I feel like a Top Fuel driver and I feel great. So looking forward to Indy. Joe, I'm telling you, we're gonna have a good shot. We got a good race car. I'm gonna be better, and we're gonna go for it.
Sounds good. No, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all of us. This is a great time of year. We don't know what direction it's going to go, but we know we're all going to converge on the U.S. Nationals and let it all play out over the marathon week. Jordan, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. See you soon. I'll see you soon.
There he goes. Jordan Vandergriff with us here on WFO Radio. How about that? Final comments in the comment section. Your thoughts on anything that our guest said. We started out with John Force and Richard Gadson and Matt Stutzman and Jordan Vandergriff, 4 totally dynamic personalities, and I'm here too. And I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think about what's going on? You know, Congruity HR Pro Modified, and we got Factory Showdown, and we got like 50 comp cars, and we've got so much great stuff. Before we get to all of that, and your thoughts, I see Michael Heiner is out there blaming Galvin. Galvin, listen, he knows certain stuff. I think that's great. Jordan's going to be in the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge. I don't get like an instant red phone call when something like that happens, but that would be nice. I want to tell you about the folks at HusseyPerformance.net. Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, David Allen and the team. They give me their number to give to you guys, 412-716-4872. And it's not just copper head gaskets anymore. They do oil pan, valve cover, header gaskets. They work strategically with U.S.-based materials companies to come up with the best of the best. And they turn it around very quickly using lasers, making sure it's absolutely perfect to the thousandth of an inch. They have got contingency programs in the NHRA and Top Alcohol Dragster, Top Alcohol Funny Car, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman. I should have told Matt about HusseyPerformance.net. Plus in the PDRA and Top Sportsman and Top Dragster, it's all made in America. They didn't have to bring their manufacturing back because it never left. So if you're looking for gaskets, go to HusseyPerformance.net. I also want to tell you about our great friends at Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ.com. Bernie's. This is Josh Hart's home base. They got 100,000 square feet in Ocala, Florida. This is where we do our fan fest for the Gator Nationals. And Bernie's, they're buying and selling cars for their inventory. If you're looking for an exotic, a classic, something to drive around in, a fun car to cruise around, they've got it on their showroom. But if you've got one that needs a little TLC, that is a car of consequence, they'll buy it from you or they'll sell it on consignment. So go to Bernie's.com to find out more information and tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Real excited about that. Want to mention our friends at Foggett. Gary Stinnett puts together Foggett along with Steve Williams. Gary Stinnett is in line since Sunday at the U.S. Nationals. He has never missed a super comp race at Indy. He's been to them all. He's won twice. He's run it up twice. And through all those experiences, he invented this product called Foggett. It's available at Summit Racing Equipment. Go to summit-racing-equipment.com. Get yourself a can of Foggett. And it'll help you out. After you're done racing, it'll protect your cylinder finish. And it has thousands of other uses we're all finding. I want to mention my friend Marvin Rodak, Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. It's coffee. Coffee's in the news lately, right? Like, oh, I can't get the Brazilian coffee or I can't get this kind of coffee. Marvin Rodak can get coffee from all around the world. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. Hot sauces, spice rubs. And if you're going to the Stampede of Speed, you're going to be at the Fall Nationals. That's where Marvin is located. I suggest you get 5 or 10 pounds of coffee right there. This is not like macro coffee. This is micro coffee. Small batches from farms all around the world. The best of the best. Call Marvin. Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Our great friends at Samtech. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. They just did a corporate event for the folks at Mickey Thompson. Yeah, it's been kind of a sloppy show, guys. But what are you going to do? It is what it is, right? Frank Hawley's corporate event. All the folks from Mickey Thompson got together and they battled each other in Frank's Dragsters. And that's what you should do. with your business, with your sales team, with your group of friends. Go to the Dragster Adventure. They travel all around the country. They are all over the place. And they'll come to you. They'll set up the race, and you spend the day driving dragsters. There's nothing more fun than that. FrankHawley.com. Of course, if you want to go through a licensing course like Jordan did and Austin did, you can do that. But for my audience, with the holidays coming, I think, it's not too soon to mention the holidays. It's the end of summer. It's about time, right? Black Friday, it's hours away. FrankHawley.com. Check them out. And one final mention, the Patreon Listener Club, the VIP Patreon Listener Club. They're getting the Ignition podcast. Apparently no one else is. I don't know what happened. Didn't go out in the feed. It's out there on SoundCloud, though. But patreon.com/WFO radio. Check it out. We've got all kinds of good stuff. The merch is on sale. I'm doing my best, John Force. John got me motivated. All right, let's see what people have got to say out there. What do you guys think about the U.S. Nationals? Mary says, great interviews on all 4 accounts. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I apologize for the power spike. I really don't know what happened there. But the way I look at it is this. I'm surprised that stuff doesn't happen more often, right? In the world, we're on the net. We're playing a mix of pre-recorded and live. And, I think I double tapped a commercial today. I'm just excited about Indy. Let's see. Special peak funny car to debut at Indy. Steve. Really, Steve? You're putting out information. Maybe that's what they're going to be talking about at the big press conference at Graham Rahal Performance on Thursday. Could it be, Steve? Wow, that would be very interesting if it was the case. Wow, what kind of peak funny car could it be? What could it be? And Steve is really working hard. He's got a second post. Steve, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to reveal people's secrets if you know them. You're supposed to keep it to yourself and let them come out when the time is right. Monica says, great show today. Looking forward to watching some racing at the U.S. Nationals. It's my understanding that there's going to be a big live component on the Fox broadcast, Big Fox, on Monday. So have your NHRA parties. If you're not going, here's what I recommend. This is the weekend. Pretend you're a NASCAR fan and it's Daytona 500 week. Pretend you're an IndyCar fan and it's Indy 500 week. Rock your gear. Pretend you're a Beyonce fan and she's coming to town for the concert. Everything about the NHRA this weekend. Wear your gear to work all week long. And everybody that asks you, what is that? Because not enough people know exactly what we're doing over here. You tell them it's going to be on Fox on Monday and to watch. It's the biggest drag race on the planet. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. Nicole, will we see some internal bets with Austin, even though they're different classes, talking about Jordan? I'm sure. You can't. I don't think the reaction time thing is fair. But look, that's what our sport needs. You've got to replenish the personality and the talent fund, right? Like you got to replenish it every couple of years. Can't just be the same people always. And we had Jordan coming in and it was failure to launch, right? Like he was really interesting. And then we had the pandemic and all these issues. Austin Prock and Funny Car, a dynamic, talented personality. You heard John Force talk about it on this show. Jordan Vandergriff, I think he deserves a season or two to show us what he's capable of. He's already got a runner-up finish. And that is the best and worst thing about our sport. Is the best thing is that someone can put themselves in position to be successful. And the worst thing is that talented people struggle to find financial sponsorship. It's a pro and it's a con. Let's see. Don't forget the return of Tony Schumacher. Exactly. We've got so many interesting stories out there. Year one, Jordan had to wipe down Austin's tires in round 2. Whatever it takes to get people excited, to get the drivers vested. You know, Brittany Force. Like I'm excited about John being on this show, honestly. I was on the starting line. We all lived that experience together, that family. And to have John, as well as he is, and getting better, finding sponsorship, inking deals, it's racing. Good news and bad news. It's a tough racket, I think is what he said. And I get it. But they keep on going. And that's my final message, guys. Enjoy this. There are so many out there in the world that they want to yuck your yum. If you're planning on having a good time, they're going to tell you why it's not going to be good, why it was better before, it's not as good. What is the point of that exercise? Where is it ultimately going? Why bother? And that's the question you should ask yourself. Why are they bothering to just voice their opinion that things were better and back in the day, whatever? I don't know. The tower wasn't better. I can't wait to go into that tower. I can't wait. My plan is to, do some sort of video tour. It looks great and a massive improvement. And last year we were in a storage container and it was trying. And now to have a place to be, fans, suites, just the first phase of a multi-phased improvement of Indianapolis Raceway Park, that is going to be awesome. There's so many good things that we could be thinking about, like Dallas Glenn and Greg Anderson. Dr. Brian Fleck, lead engineer for KB Titan Racing Engines, is our guest this week on Hidden Horsepower, the podcast we do for Total Seal. That one is up and out and available. It is on YouTube. It is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Started out in MotoGP style Grand Prix motorcycles, went to NASCAR with Hendrick Motorsports, and now is racing Pro Stock with Greg Anderson. You're going to learn a lot about him, learn a lot about Pro Stock on the Hidden Horsepower episode. Greg and Dallas, like if you hate them because they're dominant, well, one or the other is going to feel some pretty serious disappointment. Whoever goes farther, it's a winner take all for the regular season points championship. And then after it's over, every person that you do like gains about 500-600 points on them. Erica Enders had her best race of the year in Brainerd. Performance-wise, driving-wise. 21-14-009. Uh-oh. Erica Enders could potentially win the U.S. Nationals. It's very interesting stuff. The Richard Gadson, Gage Herrera, John Hall, Matt Smith. Like I would love to see, Angie get up there and battle it out. I would love to see some others get up in there, but that's enough contenders. Watching NASCAR the other day, there's not that many contenders. There are some people that can win the races, but the people that are going to win the championship, everyone is going to gain a whole lot of points. Funny Car. So to me in Funny Car, the story is show me. Like I don't want to disrespect anybody, but Austin Prock is telling the world what he is capable of and what that team is going to do. So with the big U.S. Nationals trophy on the line, the All-Star call out, who's he going to pick? Which direction does he go? Does he try to be entertaining? Does he try to just go against the weakest opponent? All of that stuff is very interesting. We'll be following that. The Hemi Challenge, Sox and Martin Hemi Challenge, going to be on free for view. Thanks to the folks at Sox and Martin, the Canlis family. They are sponsoring it, so you should follow on social and watch that event. Cars that should not be doing what they're doing. It's just freak of nature. When you watch Michael Jordan take off at the free throw line and float through the air and dunk the basketball in a way that is unnatural, and he becomes the greatest athlete the world has ever known because he's doing something it's not supposed to do. Those darts and barracudas, man, from 1968, they are not supposed to be doing that. They were not designed to do that. That is not supposed to be happening. I know one's a human, one's a machine, but it's still amazing. So take a little time to watch the Sox and Martin Hemi Challenge. Pick a favorite. Follow them through. Is it Fish Stick? I think everybody's rooting for Fish Stick. Just see that car in the winner's circle. But Camella and those other guys, they're not going to let that happen. Pro Modified. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Let's see. Love you, John. You are a Superman to us fans, says Richard. Thank you very much. I agree. He really is. And for people that want John to get back in the car, man, I'm not feeling that. I have moved to a new place. I want John to enjoy the rest of his life with his team and his kids and those of us in the world of drag racing as fans. I don't need to see John Force in a car. I don't need to see it. I've seen John Force in a car since the 1980s. I just love seeing John, period. The Warfish seems to be making an appearance as well. Yes. Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. I'll be watching NHRA TV. Michael Heiner says Fish Stick won't make it with Jason driving. Now, I talked to Jason in Brainerd, and he was on the fence, and I guess it turned negative. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, guys, that's going to do it. It has been a calamitous show. Started off strong with John Force. Richard Gadson was great. We had a power spike in mid-Matt Stutzman, but you really didn't miss anything. Just we were like a little confused for a while. Were we on? Were we not on? It's live, right? Some of this was live. And then Jordan Vandergriff bringing it home. Here's Fast Eddie. This guy, he just won his track championship up there in Sportsman. He's going to go to the bracket finals. Pretty cool. Was on the Ignition show the other night. Another historic event having John Force on the show today. I think so. And thanks to the folks at John Force Racing for trusting WFO Radio to have him on. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I just think that people want to just connect with John. He's been such a part of the drag racing community for so long. And I feel that is true. WFO merch now on sale, discounted. You can get a t-shirt for $16. The Fire shirts, the Project Pontiac shirts, the Morris Motorsports shirts, all discounted. The link is in the chat. You can get the link in the chat, certainly. There is a new Hear It From Heiner show available for Patreons. Do you like Pro Stock? Hear it from Heiner. He'll tell you all about it. SoCalHotSauce.com/WFO. You get some really cool flavors of hot sauce. SoCalHotSauce.com/WFO. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Matt Stutzman. And today, I acquired something really cool. This is the 1985 Team Championship Trophy from the bracket finals when Miami Hollywood Speedway won it in 1985. Donated to the WFO studio. Thanks to Sarah Wunderlich and the estate of Paul Wunderlich. All right, guys. See you in Indy. WFO.